When the seasons change and it gets a little cooler outside, I always want salads that are slightly hearty, just like this salad, which is Radicchio, Celeriac, and I'm going to serve it with a blue cheese dressing. It is so good and there's loads of flavours in it. So let's get onto the dressing first. Into a jug, I'm going to add some blue cheese. I'm using a milder cheese like a gorgonzola, but you can use something a bit more picante, something that is a little sharper. So I'm going to add a few bits into a jug. To this, I'll add some vinegar. I'm just using some white wine vinegar, a good splash of vinegar. And you can change that up if you want. You could add some white balsamic or red wine vinegar. A splash of extra virgin olive oil, 2 to 3 tablespoons to start with. We'll see how thick it is. We might add some more. A good pinch of salt and some freshly cracked pepper. And using a stick blender, I'm going to blend all of this together until it's smooth. Now, if it's too thick, don't be afraid to add a splash of hot water. All right, I'm happy with that. And I want to show you the consistency of this dressing. Just take the blade out and have a look at this. See how that's smooth and it's just sticking to the spoon. That's what we're after. Okay. On to the salad component. So we'll start with some celeriac. Celeriac is a beautiful root vegetable. In the cooler months, it's readily available. It tastes like celery. It's slightly nutty and it's really crunchy. You can cook with it, but you can also eat it raw in a salad like this. So what I've done is just peeled it. I've just cut it finely. And now what I'm going to do is use a sharp knife to julienne it. So we want little thin strips of it. It's one of those vegetables that you don't want to eat quite chunky, particularly if you're eating it raw. You want it to be really thin, just like this. Beautiful. That can go into our bowl. Just sprinkle that in. And for radicchio. Radicchio is bitter. It's a beautiful leaf paired with blue cheese. So we're going to cut that into quarters and we'll just take that root off. And I'm going to just cut this really roughly. I don't want it to be perfect. I like a rustic salad. And those purple leaves against that blue cheese, just fantastic. A little more, again, just cutting it into chunks and you'll watch all those leaves will just separate. Because radicchio is bitter, it does lend itself to sweet flavours. So you could use some pear, you could use some orange, or if you can get your hands on some figs, by all means, add them. Again, that colour goes so well with it. So 2 figs, and we'll cut them into quarters, and then in they go. So we just need to dress this with our blue cheese dressing. Leave this to the last minute, pour it all over, and if you want to make it extra blue cheesy, you could add the rest of it. It's up to you. We'll toss that together. Oh, it smells so good. And I love to serve this on a dark plate. We're just going to pile everything up in the centre there, spreading it out. Just make sure you get all of the different flavours combined evenly. Get those figs on top. Oh, look how pretty that salad is. You see, it's not too much dressing, it's just coating everything nicely. Okay, the last thing we need is some crunch. So some toasted walnuts. I'm just going to crush them in my hands and put them straight over the salad. And that right there is a glorious salad full of very interesting flavours.